Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to welcome you in this lecture of BCME 2, that is Basic Mechanical Engineering. And especially in this particular lecture, we will concentrate on the last part of unit number 6. We were in the brazing process. And in this brazing process, we have seen that two dissimilar metal we can bring together, we can join together by using this particular brazing operation. And here you can see that there is also the requirement of workpiece, filler rod, and torch is there. Means this is also a fusion process. We are providing the heat, we are melting the part, and by melting the filler rod, we can put the material of the filler rod in the cavity so that workpiece is going to be get fixed on the mounting. दोन जे काही पार्ट आहेत, मी तुम्हाला उदाहरण दिलं होतं, तुमच्या लक्षात असेल का नाही ते मला माहित नाही, की बऱ्याच वेळा काच कापण्यासाठी जे हिऱ्याचं कटर वापरलं जातं, तिथं हिऱ्याचे जे रॉ मटेरियल, त्याचे जे बारीक बारीक तुकडे पडलेले आहेत, तो तुकडा आणून तो त्या लोखंडाच्या कटरच्या टिपवर हा ब्रेज केला जातो, तो तिथं पेस्ट केला जातो. And for that operation, the brazing like technology is utilized. This diagram you might have drawn, and I have explained about that diagram also, and especially we had the discussion regarding with filler rod. Might be roll number 1 to roll number 10. They were really known about the rods. Okay, आणि त्या रॉड मध्ये मी सगळ्यांनाच सांगितलेलं होतं की the rod which is utilized in manual metal arc welding is known as electrode. In case of the gas welding, it is named as a filler rod. In case of the soldering, the filler material is known by the name of the solder, and in a brazing, the filler rod is known by the name of the splitter. Okay, these things we had a huge discussion. Am I correct? भरपूर डिस्कशन आपण त्याच्यावर केलं होतं आणि ह्या गोष्टी सगळ्यांच्या डोक्यामध्ये फिट बसवण्यासाठी ते डिस्कशन आपण केलेलं होतं आणि मला वाटतं आता ते सगळ्यांच्या डोक्यात असेल, सगळ्यांना लक्षात असेल. Let us move towards the discussion about the brazing process. Brazing process चे जे काही discussions आहेत, that discussions we will go. First of all, we will see what do you mean by the brazing process. I think this part is also we have discussed but not written. Let it be. Once again, we will go through it. Brazing is a process of making joints wherein coalescence is produced by heating to suitable temperature above 500 degrees centigrade and by using non-ferrous filler material having melting point 900 degrees centigrade. See, two types of the temperature are the part of the brazing process. First temperature is 500 degrees centigrade. And second is about the non-ferrous filler metal, which is known by the splitter. And this splitter is having melting point 900 degrees centigrade. म्हणजे जे फिलर मटेरियल आपण या ठिकाणी वापरतोय, त्या फिलर मटेरियलचं मेल्टिंग टेम्परेचर हे वर्कपीसच्या आणि माउंटिंगच्या ज्या मेल्टिंग टेम्परेचर पेक्षा जास्त असलेलं आपल्याला दिसतं. म्हणजे जे दोन पार्ट जोडायचे त्याचं मेल्टिंग टेम्परेचर कमी आहे, पण जे फिलर मटेरियल वापरायचंय त्याचं मेल्टिंग टेम्परेचर हे जास्त आहे. And why it is so? असं का असावं? त्याचं कारण असं आहे की फिलर मटेरियलचं टेम्परेचर, म्हणजे जे मटेरियल भरून आपण ती कॅव्हिटी फिलअप करतो, जिथं एक मटेरियल दुसऱ्या मटेरियलवर फिक्स केलं गेलेलं आहे, तिथं फिलर मटेरियलचं मेल्टिंग टेम्परेचर जास्त असल्यामुळं हॉट कंडिशन्सना सुद्धा इझिली तुमचं जे जॉईंट आहे ते जॉईंट ब्रेक होत नाही. जरी तुमच्या वरचा जो पार्ट आहे तो मेटल, ते जर मेटल मेल्ट झालं किंवा खालचा पार्ट जरी मेल्ट झाला तरी सुद्धा तुमचं जे जॉईंट आहे ते जॉईंट मेल्ट होत नाही. दॅट इज द स्पेशालिटी ऑफ द ब्रेझिंग. अँड that joint is having more melting temperature. That's why we can get a stronger joint in case of the soldering. Now once again we will go towards our previous diagram, and here I will explain how the brazing operation is carried out. See, this is the mounting, the part which you are seeing here. This is the mounting or the base, we can call it as base material. And in this base material, on this base material, we are going to add the workpiece. हा जो वर्कपीस आहे आपण त्या बेसवर काय करणार आहे, फिक्स करणार आहे. बोथ मेटल्स आर डिफरंट. These are not the same metals, keep in mind. Same metals are there only in the welding process. Other than that, in the soldering, in the brazing operation, different metals, different materials we can bring together. So this material is different, okay, and another material is different. We will name it as a material X and material Y. This is material X, and here the material Y. Both materials are different one, and X material has to be brazed on the Y material. X material आपण काय करणार आहे, Y material वर ब्रेज करणार. So what it is done actually? Actually, first of all, we are going to make some cavity in this Y material in this way. कॅव्हिटी म्हणजे काय, थोडंसं मटेरियल आपण रिमूव्ह करणार आहे बेस मटेरियलचं, आणि रिमूव्ह करून तिथं क्लोजली फिट बसणार, मीन्स वी आर गोइंग टू फिट द एक्स मटेरियल इन दिस कॅव्हिटी ऑफ द वाय. म्हणजे साधारणतः हा तुमचा जर खालचा वाय मटेरियलचा पार्ट आहे, तर आपण इथं काय करतोय, एवढी कॅव्हिटी करून घेतोय, खड्डा करून घेतोय. ओके, इज इट क्लिअर टू एव्हरीबडी? रिप्लाय इन द चॅट बॉक्स. कॅव्हिटी करून घेतोय तिथपर्यंतचा पार्ट समजला? या. And then we are going to add, we are going to put the X material in this cavity. आणि या कॅव्हिटी मध्ये आपण काय करतोय, हा X मटेरियल जे आहे ते मटेरियल अशा पद्धतीने ठेवतोय. And then with the help of the torch and this filler rod, we are allowing the melting metal of the filler rod to get inside. इथलं जे काही लेयर आहे, इथं आपण आतमध्ये काय टाकतोय, आपण या फिलर रॉडचं जे काही मेल्टिंग मटेरियल आहे, टॉर्चच्या साहाय्याने आपण गरम करतोय, गरम केल्यानंतर तो भाग थोडासा मऊ होतो, त्यानंतर आपण काय करतो, फिलर रॉडला पण हीट देतो, फिलर रॉड सुद्धा मेल्ट होतो, अँड दॅट मेल्टेड फिलर रॉड वी आर allowing in the small gaps between material X आणि material Y. आणि आपण काय करतो, फिलर मटेरियलचं जे मोल्टन मेटल आहे, त्या मोल्टन मेटलला X आणि Y च्या मधला जो बारीक गॅप आहे, त्या बारीक गॅप मध्ये आपण मेल्टेड फॉर्म मध्ये त्याच्यामध्ये सोडतो. The filler rod is having melting temperature about 900 degree centigrade. म्हणजे फिलर मटेरियलला आधी हीट करून त्यानंतर परत ऍडिशनल त्याला हीट देऊन आपण लिक्विड फॉर्म मध्ये आणतो. अँड these two metals are having, X and Y metals are having respectively low melting point. आता हायेस्ट लेवलचं मेल्टिंग पॉइंट असलेलं लिक्विड तिथं सोडल्यानंतर X and Y both materials are melted little bit. X Y इथं आपण 900 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड असलेलं फिलर मटेरियल लिक्विड फॉर्म मध्ये सोडलेलं आहे. आता 900 डिग्री टेम्परेचर आहे त्याचं आणि X आणि Y मटेरियलचं 500 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड आहे. सो X and Y both materials are also melting when you are going to add the filler material inside it. ते फिलर मटेरियलचं तर 900 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड टेम्परेचर आहेच आहे, पण ते 900 डिग्री टेम्परेचरचं फिलर मटेरियल आपण आतमध्ये सोडलेलं आहे आणि X आणि Y चं जे काय ते मेल्टिंग टेम्परेचर 500 डिग्री आहे. म्हणजे डेफिनेटली X आणि Y मटेरियल सुद्धा लिटल बिट मेल्ट होतं आणि हे मिश्रण सगळं जे आहे ते लिक्विडियस फॉर्म मध्ये एकजीव होतं. अँड व्हेन वी आर अलाउइंग इट टू सॉलिडिफाय बाय द कूलिंग प्रोसेस, हे सगळं झाल्यानंतर आपण त्याला कूल करतो. व्हेन वी आर कूलिंग इट, व्हेन वी आर डिक्रीजिंग द टेम्परेचर ऑफ दिस पर्टिक्युलर component, then the joint is going to be solidified and both the X and Y components will be get fixed together. That is the brazing process. Okay, इथं टेम्परेचर दोन्हीचं भिन्न आहे, मटेरियल सुद्धा दोन्हीचे भिन्न आहेत. इथं कॅव्हिटी करून बेस मेटलवर वरचा वर्कपीस तुम्हाला आधी ठेवावा लागतो आणि त्या कॅव्हिटीमध्ये फिलर मटेरियल जे आहे ते तुम्हाला सोडावं लागतं. ओके, अँड फिलर मटेरियल इज मेल्टेड बाय युजिंग द टॉर्च टिप. दॅट इज द वर्किंग इन केस ऑफ द ब्रेझिंग. इज इट अंडरस्टूड?
Yes, sir.
Reply in the chat box. Okay, so now we will concentrate on the next point, that is advantages of the brazing operation. Which are the advantages of the brazing operation? The first important advantage is dissimilar metals like stainless steel and cast iron can be joined by brazing. See, stainless steel and cast iron, two things are very important. Stainless steel is having very less corrosion and cast iron is having huge corrosion. So when you will braze the stainless steel material on the cast iron, then your workpiece will have very less corrosion. And that's why the combination of the stainless steel and cast iron is widely utilized in the industrial sector. And for that particular purpose, brazing operation is applied. Second thing, almost all metals can be joined by brazing except aluminum and magnesium. Only two metals we cannot join by using the brazing operation. One is the aluminum and second one is the magnesium. Okay, because due to heat, there may be some adverse reaction which are not feasible in the brazing operation. तिथे जी हीटिंग आपण करतोय ती हीटिंग ॲल्युमिनियम आणि मॅग्नेशियम मध्ये एक वेगळ्या पद्धतीची केमिकल रिएक्शन घडवून आणू शकते आणि ती रिएक्शन ही थोडीशी प्रॉब्लेमॅटिक होऊ शकते. दॅट्स वाय वी आर नॉट युजिंग दिस ब्रेझिंग ऑपरेशन in case of aluminum and magnesium. And remaining all metals we can bring together, we can combine together by using the brazing operation. Then because of the lower temperatures used, there is a less distortion in brazed joints. See, the maximum temperature in the brazing operation is 900 degree centigrade. 900 degree centigrade जी हीट आहे ती हीट ही ब्रेझिंग ऑपरेशन मध्ये त्या ठिकाणी आपण वापरतो. And this is the very less heat as compared to heat generated in the welding process. Welding process मध्ये आपण पाहिलेलं आहे 3100, 3300, 2900 एवढं टेम्परेचर असतं. and due to huge temperature there may be the distortion in the material, but as compared to the 3000 degree centigrade, 900 degree centigrade is very low amount of heat as compared to 3000, and that's why like welding in the brazed joint there will not be any distortion happens. Okay. Number 4, the joint can be quickly finished without much skill. Here the skill is not at all required. You will have to melt the filler material, then you will have to just keep the workpiece over there. That's all. Brazing will happen automatically. And that's why here not much skill is required or expected in the brazing operation. The next point is, because of the simplicity of the process, it is often an economical joining method with reasonable joint strength. This process is very simple. It requires no any machines to carry out. You just tell me here, like the welding rod, transformers, etc. are not required. Soldering gun is not required. Just by using the torch and the filler material, you can perform this particular joining operation. So, joint strength is also excellent and process is also very simple and very less machine parts are required in the process, and that's why this process is very cheap. It is not expensive at all, and that's why we can say that it is one of the economical process in the joining processes list. Joining processes ज्या काही लिस्ट आहे त्याच्यामध्ये ही सगळ्यात चांगली आणि इकॉनॉमिकल प्रोसेस म्हणून ओळखली जाते. So these are the 5 advantages. You can join dissimilar metals. You can join all metals almost except aluminum and magnesium. Then less distortion is happened in case of the brazed joint. This joint can be performed without much skill. You can also do the brazing operation with just some observation. And this process is very simple, providing good joint strength and very, very cheap. That's why at many places this brazing operation is preferred in the manufacturing processes. Is it clear to everybody? Reply in the chat box. Yeah. So it is my request that please note down these all points in your notebook without wasting much of time. do it fast. In the first paragraph, there is an introduction about the brazing process, and in the second paragraph, there are some advantages of the brazing. Note it down fast. So friends, we have seen the brazing process, we have seen the operations. Now we will see the application of the brazing. And what are the application of the brazing? Brazing has been used to manufacture a wide variety of the products. Means in many component brazing operation has done. And where the brazing operation is performed? Honeycomb sandwich panels for aircraft. विमानामधले काही पार्ट बनवण्यासाठी, मिसाइल्स, मोटरसायकल फ्रेम्स, एरोप्लेन प्रोपेलर्स म्हणजे एरोप्लेनचे जे फिरणारे पंखे आहेत ते, हायड्रॉलिक फिटिंग्स, पाण्याचे जे काही पाईपलाईन्स मोठमोठे असतात त्याच्यामध्ये जिथं फिटिंग काही गोष्टी एकमेकांमध्ये फिक्स कराव्या लागतात. So that is done by using the brazing operation. Refrigerator evaporators and manufacture of the cutting tools. I was talking about high speed tool steel utilized in the lathe operation, and many tools such kind of the graphite point is brazed on high speed cutting tools so that we can cut the material very efficiently and clearly. Means these are some of the examples where the brazing operation is done. The use of pressure vacuum brazing has found widespread acceptance in general application of brazing joint in nuclear and aerospace engineering. So here pressure vacuum brazing, one type of the brazing, it is utilized widely and mostly in the nuclear technology and aerospace engineering. Means mainly in the aircraft, जी विमान आहेत, हवेत उडणारे जी काही मशीन्स आहेत, त्या मशीन्सच्या टेक्नॉलॉजी मधले बरेचसे जे काही इक्विपमेंट्स आहेत ते ब्रेझिंग ऑपरेशननी मॅन्युफॅक्चर केलेले असतात. ओके, सो ब्रेझिंग हॅज वाइड ऍप्लिकेशन in case of the aerospace engineering. That is one very important part. So please note down the application of the brazing in the notebook also. Brazing has been used to manufacture a wide variety of products such as honeycomb sandwich, panels for aircraft, comma, missiles, comma, motorcycle frames, comma, airplane propellers, comma, hydraulic fitting, comma, refrigerator evaporators, comma, manufacture of cutting tools, 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 manufacture of cutting tools. Next line, the use of pressure vacuum brazing, the use of pressure vacuum brazing has found widespread acceptance in the general application of brazing joint in nuclear, comma, aerospace engineering, nuclear, comma, aerospace engineering, nuclear, comma, aerospace engineering. Now, there is a difference between soldering and brazing operation. ब्रेझिंग आणि सोल्डरिंग मध्ये महत्वाचा डिफरन्स आहे आणि तो जो डिफरन्स आहे तो डिफरन्स इथं एनलिस्ट केलेला आहे. द फर्स्ट डिफरन्स बिटवीन सोल्डरिंग अँड ब्रेझिंग इज इन द सोल्डरिंग lower temperature filler metal like lead and tin are used. लीड आणि टीन ह्याच्यामधलं जे मटेरियल आहे त्याच्या कॉम्बिनेशन मधनं बनवलेलं फिलर मटेरियल आहे ते सोल्डरिंग मध्ये यूज होतं. फॉर एक्झाम्पल वी हॅव सीन सॉफ्ट सोल्डर इज हॅव्हिंग लेस अमाऊंट ऑफ दी लीड अँड मोर अमाऊंट ऑफ टीन. आणि जसं मग तुम्ही लीडचं कॉम्बिनेशन त्याच्यातलं वाढवत जाता तसं तुमचा जो सोल्डर आहे तो अधिकाधिक स्ट्रॉंग होत जातो. As amount of the lead in the solder is increased, its strength is also going to be increased. And in case of the brazing, instead of low temperature filler metal means solder, smelter is used. That word is a spelter I had given. I think it is a smelter. Okay. Then in point number 2, the melting point of the solder is 320 degree and melting temperature of the smelter is about 600 degrees centigrade. Means melting point of the filler material used in the brazing, it has more temperature. Number 3, in the soldering process, the part which we are going to join by the soldering process are not heated. We are heating the filler material. We are melting it and we are pasting over there. But in case of the brazing, the metal pieces which we are going to join together are heated by some means ते आपण थोड्या प्रमाणामध्ये त्याला गरम करतो ब्रेझिंग मध्ये. मेटल पीसेस जे जोडायचे आहेत ते सोल्डरिंग मध्ये मेटल पीस गरम करत नाही, सोल्डर गरम करतो आणि त्याला थोडंसं मेल्टिंग झाल्यानंतर लिक्विडियस फॉर्म मध्ये आल्यानंतर ते तिथं आपण त्या ठिकाणी जॉईंट करण्यासाठी यूज करतो. द जॉईंट the soldered joint is weaker than the brazing, and the brazing joint is comparatively stronger than the soldered joint. So these are the four important parts. First one is about the pillar material. Second is the melting point of the pillar material. Number three, about the heating of the part. And number four is about the joint utilized in the or the explanation about the joint in the soldering operation as well as in the brazing operation. Now, my request is to you all that please note down these four differences immediately in your notebook. Your time starts now. There will be three columns: serial number, soldering, and brazing. In the soldering, first point, lower temperature filler metals like lead and tin are used. Second point in the soldering, melting point of solder is about 320 degrees centigrade. Number third point, part to be joined are not heated. And number 4 point, the joint is weaker than the brazing. On other hand, there are 4 important points in the brazing section. Fusible alloy known as a smelter is used. Melting point of the smelter is about 600 degrees centigrade. Metal pieces to be joined are heated by some means, and joint obtained is comparatively stronger. So these are the 4 important points which will tells us about difference between soldering and brazing operation. This was very famous question previously asked in examination, offline examination for 3 marks. Write down or mention the difference between soldering and brazing. Very, very famous point is there. Have you written it? Have you completed it?
No, sir, writing.
Reply in the chat box. Okay, write it down. Still, I will provide 1 minute to complete it. Only 4 points are there. Do it fast. Have you completed it now?
Yes, sir.
I think this all 4 points might be written by you people. Okay. So friends, I'll stop here only. In the next lecture, we will move towards riveted joints and screw joints. And then our unit number 6 will be concluded. We will move towards unit number 8, thermodynamics. Okay. So thank you very much for being with me. So for the midterm examination, this chapter number 6 is there for the syllabus. Machine tools and joining processes. Whole chapter up to brazing. Okay. Thank you.